Has a CBDC in the UK become a certainty? Some people would say yes. I'm going to say that there is some pushback. We have an article that came out of Cointelegraph yesterday indicating that the UK government is taking steps to hire a lead for the CBDC project. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, well, this came out yesterday, and I mean, I knew that we had to do a clip about it. I think I might be taking a bit of a different approach than other people who are doing a clip about this, because I'm going to point out two things. Number one, I'm going to point out how there's resistance to a CBDC, which is interesting, right? Because let's all remember, incentives matter, and nobody is going to cheer to make themselves obsolete. That's the first part. And the second part is we're gonna bring this CBDC in relation to shitcoiners, because I've often seen a lot of shitcoiners sit there and say, we're fighting the system with crypto and the banks can't control crypto and all this stuff. And I just want to bring some light to that ridiculous narrative that shitcoins are somehow fighting the system. Anyways, okay, let's dive into this. The UK government is hiring a central bank digital currency lead for the Treasury team. Spicy. HM Treasury in the United Kingdom has begun calling for applicants to lead the central bank digital currency team behind efforts towards a digital pound. The CBDC head would determine the strategic direction for Treasury's efforts to develop a digital currency in line with the government's agenda, as well as analyze potential policy issues for lawmakers. I'm just going to say it right here. Really what they're looking for is a Manchurian candidate so that they can point the finger at this person every time something falls apart. So essentially what it is they're going to create this puppet role of a person that stands at the top, but really all this person is doing is carrying out the work for the central bankers and carrying out their orders, essentially, all under the guise of working with the people, for the people, and the government. Anyways, okay, that's my own opinion. I digress. Let's continue. The Treasury and the Bank of England are working together through the CBDC task force to explore the case for a digital pound. CBDC task force. Very interesting. Let's go take a peek at what the hell that really is. Here we are on the bankofengland.co.uk website, and let's take a look at what the role is of this CBDC task force. So here we go. This task force brings together HM Treasury and the Bank of England to coordinate the exploration of a potential UK CBDC. The government and the Bank of England have not yet made a decision on whether to introduce a CBDC in the UK. So obviously this article is older than the one from Cointelegraph. I'm just pointing that out for people's timelines not to get screwed up. And will engage widely with, and here's one of the keys, right? This is how you know CBDC, UK government doesn't really want this because they're no longer going to be, quote unquote, in control. And I'll tell you why. They're going to engage widely with stakeholders on the benefits, risks, and practicalities of doing so. A CBDC would be a new form of money that would exist alongside cash and bank deposits. Of course, they can't get rid of cash and bank deposits just yet. You got to make sure that you got to make sure that people get used to not using cash anymore, so that once you take it away, well, we weren't using it anyways. The government recognizes that cash remains important to millions of people across the UK and has committed to legislating to protect access to cash. And of course, it just sounds great, right? So you as a citizen, right? When you go to vote for these things, which don't get me wrong, you are not going to have a fucking say in any of this shit. None of us are going to have a say in any of this. You can sit there and say, well, hold on a second. They're not taking away cash. They're protecting cash. Yeah. That's all they need to tell you so that they can simply goose step and push, right? Kick the can down the road a little further so that everybody gets less and less used to cash. Anyways, okay. So my big deal with this is the mention of stakeholders. Who talks about stakeholder capitalism? The World Economic Forum. Who created the paper on stakeholder capitalism? Klaus Schwab, head of the World Economic Forum. Okay. Anyways, all right, let's continue on here. Back to the article. Here we go. Tony Yates, a former senior advisor to the Bank of England, advised against CBDCs in a January interview, arguing it was not worth the costs and the risks. The current governor of England central banks has likewise expressed skepticism about the digital pound. Nobody wants their job to go away. You're not going to advocate to put yourself out of a job. Of course not. And they can see the writing on the wall. That's right. At the time of the publication, this is key here. At the time of the publication, 16 applicants had applied for the CBDC role at the Treasury. Okay, well, let's go take a look at this role. All right, so guys, keep in mind, okay? I did this research about 24 hours after they released that article. And I just want to point out, we are now up to 61 applicants for this job. That's right, 61 people, 61 of your fellow citizens, your fellow peons want the opportunity to help destroy our freedom and our ability to have a censorship-resistant money. Big claps to those little statist pieces of shit. Anyways, but of course, right, you can't blame them because we all need a job. We all need to eat. We all need to put we all need to put shelter over our heads. So we got to do what we have to. And therein lies part of the problem. Okay, anyways, enough with my ridiculous philosophy. Let's continue on with dismantling this total shit show. Okay, now let's go take a look at the actual job itself. Right? This is the actual listing, from LinkedIn as to what the job is for. Of course, I'm not going to read through this whole entire thing, and I'll, as always, we give a link to all the source material. But what I thought was extremely important was this. This is about the description of the job. Working with stakeholders is key in financial services. For example, we work closely with the independent regulators to help them fulfill their roles. So if they're independent regulators, why are you helping them fulfill their roles? Shouldn't they be fulfilling their own roles as independent? Whatever, doesn't matter. It makes no difference. By the way, stakeholder is mentioned 4 times in this job description. Okay, so you see that this is the repetition, the illusion of truth, right? We keep saying the words over and over again, and they become real, even though they mean nothing. And then people start to treat them like they're real. So stakeholder capitalism is now all of a sudden a frickin' thing, which no, it isn't. Anyways, okay, so the first point I think was dismantled. The reality is the Bank of England, they're not actually interested in a CBDC because they understand that it makes them obsolete. Okay, so they want no part of this. That's number one. Number two, the repeated mention of this stakeholder ideology tells you exactly where the push of the CBDC is coming from. Klaus Schwab. Okay, now the second piece to this whole thing is the shitcoiners, okay, or the altcoin promoters, however you want to call these people. They're going to sit there, and I'm going to talk about specifically 2 groups, okay? Number 1, Ethereum, and number 2, XRP. Why? Because these 2 particular shitcoins have actually done the most to help push the CBDC narrative. So all of these, I'm sorry, guys, all of you bag holders of all of these ridiculous affinity scams, you are not fighting the system. You're not fighting the system in any way, shape, or form. You're not holding a censorship-resistant money. You are not actually holding an asset that the government cannot stop. You are literally playing in their sandbox, doing what they tell you to do. That's all shitcoining is. Shitcoining is a complete illusion. Anyways, all right, I'll shut up and actually show you some sources. Here we go. Exhibit A. Here we have consensus. Now, when I was on Simply Bitcoin, I had mentioned this multiple times. I did a whole entire thing dismantling consensus, but I just wanted to bring it back up here. So consensus is essentially the main component of the layer 2 on top of Ethereum. Without consensus, all the rest of the shitcoin casino just completely falls flat on its face. What people don't understand is that consensus is Ethereum. Okay, they own MetaMask, they own Infura. Okay, and without the consensus layer, Ethereum just does absolutely nothing. Okay. So, but anyways, right here, blockchain solutions for a central bank digital currency. That's right. Consensus was one of the first players to come out and provide guidance on how a CBDC should look. So this idea that the shitcoiners are standing up for freedom, no, you're not standing up for shit. Okay? You're just a part of the fucking machine that wants to turn everybody into freaking time slaves, which we already are time slaves. Bitcoin is our way out of time slavery. Okay, next, we're moving on. The next shitcoin that everybody thinks is going to be, and this is funny because Ben Armstrong, right? Grift boy or bit boy, he always talks about how like, well, I'm fighting the system and I'm standing up for you and no, and like, yeah, bro, XRP, the dog shit that you shill all the time. Look at this. They're offering guidance on a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. So you, sir, respectfully are full of crap, and XRP is respectfully nothing but a terrible affinity scam, which dumps on its bag holders every time they need to keep the lights on. That felt good. You got to rip apart shitcoiners and tear apart the CBDCs all in one clip. So look, which, I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise, right? Because CBDCs are shitcoins. Sorry, a CBDC is a shitcoin. So look, guys, make no mistake, the banks are slowly going to figure out that they are expendable in the CBDC reality. And all of a sudden, they are going to start pushing back. So this is very interesting to see some criticism out of the Bank of England. Now, we're going to give a counter narrative. Oftentimes I say that we're just watching a show. Oftentimes I say, yeah, look, I mean, these are just actors and you're watching them act and we're watching a show. Could very well be that the Bank of England, the concerns that they expressed are simply a part of that show, right? To create the counter narrative. See, look, the bank is standing up for the people, providing a counter narrative. I'm not really sure, but I can tell you this. We're going to continue to cover this as this progresses. Make no mistake, a CBDC is nothing but slave money.